Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG review show. Just as we've gone live, Tabakins appears to be having some minor technical issues. So we'll just ignore the black space down there for a minute. So things are happening. Good evening, everyone.
Can you gone or all the lights are out? Who knows?
Yeah.
Can you still hear me?
Yes,
We can
lovely.
hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We just can't see
We
you.
just can't see you.
But good evening, everyone. It is the TNG review show. Myself, Monteban, my co-hosts Mazza Bob, and Tavikins Turner. We are here to discuss and to consign to the vaults another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. This week, once again, with no Chief Sean. Chief Sean is still busy with his theatre production. So hopefully, if he finishes in time, he'll be joining us for the end later on. We'll be able to say hello and see how it's going. Hope he's breaking a leg and whatnot. But we will continue in his absence. So first of all, as we do every week, we shall go around the table and see how everybody's week is going. So starting off with Maz Bob. Good evening, Maz.
Yes, good evening. My week is going well. I said last week that I had 3 different public speaking engagements that I had to do, and my first one was today, so it was this morning. So that went quite well. So 1 down and 2 to go.
Very good. Well, how did you feel afterwards? Were you like, oh, that's you don't mind doing these things?
I was very. I haven't done it for quite a long time. It's just the amount of prep, you know. I was working on it all day Sunday, then I was practicing Monday evening till 11 and Tuesday evening till 11, So it's just a big relief once it's done, because all of that effort, was good. Like, it netted a good result, if you like.
Yeah.
And it means that I can sort of relax a little bit now. I know I've got another one coming next week, but at least that's one down. It's a big relief.
Yeah,
I
that's
took
next
over
week.
an hour off at lunchtime. I was like, first time I've been able to relax in about 3 days.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Tavikins, are you there?
I am here. If you can hear me still.
Yeah.
We can still hear you. Yeah.
How's your week been, Tammy? Hey, there
we
you
can
are.
see you.
My ears are doing good. A bit hectic. I thought daylight savings time had happened and went into full panic. I just barely got the babies into bed before the show and got myself done up, along with questions and other things. But my internet is on the fritz, so I might be going in and out. And if it keeps going on, I'll just have to log in through my phone.
Right, yeah.
Right now, all of my screens are white.
Yes, just I don't know if anybody noticed, but earlier on I set the stream to the wrong time. I said it's 8:40 instead of 8 o'clock. I mistyped, and that completely confused Tavikins, who thought some clocks had gone forward in a weird way in the UK, and it's all out. So, but I've corrected it. I corrected it, so we're all on the same time frame now. Yes.
Yeah.
My week's going okay.
I'm having some bubbly in celebration of my good day.
Oh, well done. Some bubbly blood wine. Bubbly blood wine. That sounds interesting. Yeah.
Sorry, you were just about to say about your week.
Oh, it's nothing to report really. It's just I'm looking forward to the Grand Prix on the weekend. Formula One is back, everyone, and yes, this Saturday. Funnily enough, it's the first 2 Grand Prix are on Saturday this year. So Saturday at 3 o'clock, the Bahrain Grand Prix. So I'm looking forward to that. But why have a Grand Prix at 3 o'clock on Saturday? Don't they know what other things go on at 3 o'clock on a Saturday? Football.
What other things go on Saturday? Oh, right. Okay. Oh,
I know. So
you
yes.
don't have choices to make now.
Well, luckily Stu Plum's recording it, so I can go to Plymouth Home Park, watch the football, then rush back and watch the Grand Prix with Stu Plum. So yes, that's going to be my Saturday.
That sounds good.
Looking forward to that. Good afternoon, or good evening, or good night to everyone in live chat, to Stu Plum, to Ruth, to Wookie, or whatever. I can't do it. Whatever.
I can't do it either.
No.
I'm not even going to try.
No. Good evening to Wooks. Good evening. To anyone else that comes along during this live stream. And if you're watching it back, I don't know if anybody noticed, but last week on the weekend, last week's episode got like 150 views on Saturday for some reason. But yeah,
that's nice.
Just over a period of a few days, it just started like escalating. I don't know why, but it's nice to get some views.
Picked up by some algorithm somewhere.
Got picked up by something. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
And we got a couple more subscribers. I think we're up to, is it 530 now or something? But gradually creeping up. And before I get into the episode, I will do a quick plug. It will be the Monty Zone is back this Friday. So Friday nights, the Monty Zone, where we are going to be reviewing a couple of Bigfoot documentaries that are on Amazon Prime. So it's going to be a bit like this episode, like a review episode, but of some Bigfoot documentaries. So if you want to come along and join us for that, the Monty Zone with myself and G will be back Friday evening.
Very cool.
So, yeah. Right, who wants to get into the episode?
Me.
And if anybody in the live chat world wants to hit that like button, or anything like that, then please
I'm a good
feel
girl.
free.
I did it already.
Oh, well done, Maz. Well done. Yes. Okay, so this week we are consigning to the vault Force of Nature, which is episode 9 of season 7, production number 40277-261. It first aired in the US on the 15th of November 1993 and was the 160th episode to be both produced and released. It was written by Naran Shankar, who we've talked about a number of times in the past. This was his 7th of 9 episodes that he had writing credits for TNG, the last one being Gambit Part 1 and 2. It was directed by...
7 of 9?
7 of 9, yes. Yes, it was 7 of 9 episodes. Yeah, done its own Star Trek reference right there, didn't it? It was directed by Robert Lederman. This was his last episode. 2 episodes he directed for TNG, the other one being Iborg.
Apparently it was originally derived from a Joe Manosky premise back in the 6th season. At the time, the idea was known as Limits. But then obviously they sort of developed it. Yeah.
Wookie says, if you do this Friday, you will get big moat. Big moat?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. If you do this on Friday, you will get big, Monty, I think.
Oh, you will get big. Oh, will I? Ah. Well, I'm already big. Yeah. Yeah, so it was a sort of repurposed script then, sort of kind of thing, or it was kind of a thing that had been flying about for some time and they couldn't get it off the ground, but they finally ran out of ideas in season 7, so it was like, let's do that one. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Jerry Taylor said it was a troubled episode with many different guises trying different things to try and make it work. But then finally in this 7th year, Naren and Braga had a breakfast and they decided to have another crack at it. But doing these kind of environmental issues ones, it's sort of dramatizing it is a bit problematic. So they tried a few, plot devices to sort of work things into it, like Geordie and his competition and, and things like that. But yeah, anyway, we'll get into that later, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, actually, you probably want to see a picture, don't you?
Have you got your spinny wheel up as well?
The wheel is spinning. The wheel is spinning away, waiting for some names to go on it. Here we go. Start off with a nice picture of the D. Oh, where's my cursor? There it is. Can't be a good D pick to start off an episode.
Ooh, the D.
Yeah. Despite a picture of the D flying past, we get no captain's log. No captain's slog on this one. Data is visiting
Not
Geordie.
in the teaser.
Yeah.
There's our D.
Yeah, there's Tavikin's D.
All the D's you need.
Yeah. Data's visiting Geordie in his quarters, who's having problems looking after Spot. Spot is hiding under Geordie's bed. Females hiding from Geordie's become pretty standard at this point, isn't it?
Is Spot a female at this point? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She does babies yet, or
no? This is the first time that Spot's appeared as a female, I think. This was her transition outing, I guess.
Yeah.
She's been outed as a trans cat.
Very convenient that she kept her name, because then people wouldn't have to get tripped up trying to remember. You don't want to dead name a cat.
No.
So
no.
It gets intense.
She could have put it back to front and become Tops. Anyway, Geordie decides that if he catches her, he's going to kill her, which seems a little excessive. It turns out that Geordie wanted to experience owning a cat before getting one himself, but has decided he isn't ready for it, and he's dismayed when not even Data can control it. Geordie complains that he never knew if she was going to lick him or scratch his face off. It's kind of like the complaint of every cat owner everywhere, isn't it?
I think that's the complaint of every female that's come in contact with Geordie.
That's true. That is also true. Yeah.
That he's attempted to keep in close quarters, other than the maybe murderer, but crappy lieutenant that that got off.
Has anybody else in live chat got a cat? Are there any cat owners out there? Let us know. What do you think? So, Data says he's never experienced this kind of behaviour in Spot. That's probably because up to now Spot's been a boy, and now it's a girl. So, Geordie tells Data he has to train his cat and decides to try to scare it out from under the bed. Data warns that such actions are not wise, but Geordie does it anyway and scares the cat out from under the bed, and it runs around his room, destroying various items in his quarters whilst it's at it. And that is the end of our teaser. So hopefully now I'm going to press the button and I say loosely, it's question time?
It is. And we got some questions. What a shot to freeze it on.
Geordie's behind.
Yeah. Very, very shapeless. Yeah. Very shapeful. Shapely, not shapeless. You're around. Okay, the question for the teaser. What other item did Spot destroy in Geordie's quarters? We've got A, tricorder, B, teapot, C, a sculpture, or D, his bedding. And the bonus is, what other animal has played Spot besides felines?
Ooh, this is tricky. Put it with the bars, so I don't really know what to say.
Wookie, was it one of those cats from the Marvels? You know, was it one of those cats? Did it try to eat you?
Oh, what are they called?
What are those things called?
Tip of my tongue.
What, the space cats?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Marvels where it like eats all the people to save them?
Yeah.
They got like hundreds of these kittens, and they gotta get
Flurkin. It's a flurkin.
A flurkin. That's it. A flurkin.
That's the one.
Yeah, it's not a flurkin. No, it was just a standard space cat, was it?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, this is the first time Spot was referred to as she rather than he. It's unexplained, although the change in gender goes on to play a significant role in Genesis, in which she has kittens. So apparently, in the Star Trek Encyclopedia, the writers said in a later interview, when questioned about it, that perhaps Spot had some sort of transporter accident.
Can transports do that to you? Christ. No wonder McCoy was always a bit suspect of them.
Yeah. And although Data is devoted to his cat, in reality, Brent Spiner apparently hates cats.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Data tells Geordie that Spot has the unfortunate habit of jumping on his computer, which he was seen doing previously in A Fistful of Datas. Fistful of Datas, and actually does again later in Generations. So obviously, Data doesn't really, get a handle on it at all even by then. And that's it really for this teaser.
Yeah, it wasn't a very long teaser, was it? It was just one scene.
1, 2, 3, 4 answers. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody.
I think that's all we got. That's all we got tonight.
All right. Let's see where we are. The correct answer for what did Spot break is B, a teapot.
Huh, everybody got that right.
And the bonus question, when I realized from the bloopers you were reading, is from an episode that hasn't happened yet. So I don't know if anybody was penalized for not getting it. Spot is played by an iguana in the episode.
Does lizard count?
Put lizard. Does that count?
Played by lizard. Lizard counts. Lizard.
Yay.
Well, I say yay.
Oh.
I say
oh, that's only you and me on the board now.
Yeah. Do we have Tavi on for a wild plus 10 points card for both of us?
Yeah, why not? At least that reduces our chances of getting a Wookiee a little bit.
It's all ready then. It's all set up, ready to go. How great. Here we go. World Massimo Bob gets the first bonus points of the day.
Yay!
Yay.
That's nice.
I'm just happy it wasn't Wookiee. Good evening, Tired Time Lord. Good evening to you, sir. I hope you are well. Yes. Okay, so we're on to Act 1.
Apparently, Lindy Hop's mum and dad had a dog called Spot.
Did they? Oh, they did. Yes,
I
they
didn't know
did.
that. Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
It was when you were very little, I think.
Yeah. I was probably a bubby.
Yeah. I think it was it a Yorkshire Terrier or?
I only remember Tammy.
Yeah. Tired Time Lord, I see you've made another change in your videos this week, in that you've replaced your cartoon picture with a picture of yourself during your monologues. So,
have you seen his Derp Treks?
Derp Treks.
The little comedy skits.
Yes.
They're funny.
Yeah, they are funny. Yeah, they're very good. Okay, Act 1. We finally get a Captain Slog to tell us what the Enterprise is up to today, and we learn that it's investigating the disappearance of a medical transport ship, the Fleming, somewhere in the Hikaris corridor. The Enterprise is searching to search the complete corridor. The Enterprise search is complicated by the unique properties of the corridor. So, Lieutenant Commander Data gives the senior staff a PowerPoint presentation on the properties of the Hikaris corridor, which is the only route through the region. It's the only route through the region because it's free of Tetrion fields. It is 12 light years long, so will take 2 days to complete the search. It's a bit like you in your presentations. He knows how you feel. The team discusses various things they could do to improve their chances, but none of them will work. Deanna points out that Hikaris 2 is inhabited, but Riker has already talked to them, and all they've seen is a Ferengi trader. The doc points out that the Fleming was carrying rare biomimetic, I think that's right, rare biomimetic gel, which is very valuable, which might explain the Ferengi's presence. Later in engineering, Data visits Geordi for help with the sensors, but finds him really set on increasing the power conversion levels of the Enterprise in the dilithium chamber. At first, Data thinks there must be something wrong with the engines, but Geordi explains how he is just trying to get a higher conversion level to beat the Chief Engineer Kaplan of the USS Intrepid. It's a friendly rivalry, you see. But after his attempts fail, he agrees to help Data with the sensors. As they work, Data tells Geordi how he has started training Spot. Next up, he's going to employ a biosensor net and behavior modifiers. So has he been successful? No, he has not. Geordi suggests a phaser on low stun. But Data tells him he is not shooting his cat. Geordi's like, well, of course I was kidding. You would never do such a thing. Data is concerned that his training efforts will fail, and Geordi tells him that his sister trained her cat, so he's sure Data can do it. He just needs to walk around for 2 months with tuna in his blouse. I don't think they'll like that on the bridge. I think Picard might object. They failed. Yes, they failed to get anything out of the sensors, but then get summoned to the bridge because they found the Ferengi ship. On the bridge, they find all the Ferengi systems are down, or on minimal power. Data reports that there are 450 Ferengi on board, which is standard complement for a Decorer-class ship. I think that's the first time, like a Ferengi Marauder gets given the classification of a Decorer-class ship. Yeah. I think. I don't know if that is the case, but I believe that's...
I think it might be.
From you said Marauder? Did they say Marauder in this episode?
No, they only called it a Ferengi. They only mentioned it being a Decorer. They called it a Marauder in the past, in season 1.
Did they?
I think so.
What? I thought the first time they called it a Marauder was when Quark referred to it when they went back in time.
Oh, maybe.
And that's where they got the name.
Maybe.
Oh.
Geordi advises that they use the deflectors to make communication, and Picard readies a tractor beam to take them under tow. However, the Ferengi attack instead, shooting at the Enterprise, and that is the end of Act 1. Guess what, Tavi?
What time is it?
It's question time. You know it.
It is. Let me get these copied in.
Good evening, Mr. Tavikins. The beard is online. Good evening, sir. I hope you're well.
Happiness. Okay. Oh, I gotta forgive the typos, people. I'm doing this on the fly again. All right. Question 1 for scene 1. What was the LCAR's display during the briefing? We've got A, RS Corridor 47210. B, RS Corridor 40271. C, RS Corridor A9. D, RS Corridor C12. And your bonus is, what class of starship is the USS Intrepid?
Oh.
Ooh.
Crumbs.
I'm going to go with... that and...
that. Time Lord, I wonder how much it costs to become a captain through standard government channels in Ferengi culture. I'm sure you have to pay for every step of the way. I'm pretty sure you probably do. It would be at Daemon, wouldn't it? Daemon is the I suppose the captain rank. Daemon.
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah.
I believe it is. Daemon Prack. So this is the first mention of the biomimetic gel. There's another episode, isn't there, on Deep Space Nine where somebody's trying to buy some biomimetic gel, like Julian wants something and they're asking for like 100 milliliters of biomimetic gel and he won't give it to them. Oh, and also the USS Voyager's computers are regulated by bioneural gel packs, which presumably is something similar. There was a science consultant called Andre Bormanis, who based this element on news that Cambridge researchers had developed a material that could create small tubules that mimicked certain cellular level biological activities and structures. So it had some basis in, in sort of scientific research at the time. The only other thing I've got is, obviously you mentioned about it's the first time they called the Ferengi ship a Ferengi Decor class vessel. It's also the first time that we've had indication of the crew complement for that, which apparently the default is around 450 people. It seems like a lot of Ferengi. I mean, if you look at those little lights though, are those supposed to be windows? Because that would be like a massive ship if that was the case, right?
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah, 450 Ferengi. I just don't like to think about 450 Ferengi in one place anyway. It's just
can you imagine?
Thought, right?
Can you imagine 450 Ferengi in a room?
I think later.
How do they all kill each other? I mean,
how do they actually get along on that ship and actually create? I can't imagine it really. Not that.
From what I heard, they rarely carry all that complement, and they figure out ways to use that space for cargo. So they go down to a skeleton crew far below that, and so they can make more room for stuff.
Not these guys. They've got a full 450 on board.
Yeah.
Can you imagine when the Enterprise fired back at them in a minute? There's 450 Ferengi all panicking, clambering over each other. It just doesn't bear thinking about, does it?
Yeah. Well, hopefully they are as notoriously good at the either evading conflicts, because I think they only attack when they know they can win, and other than that they just retreat if they can't talk their way out of that situation.
I'm pretty sure there's a rule of acquisition for that, and only starting a fight when you know you can win.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So we have A from Maz, A from Ruth, complete guess from me with a B, which, looking at previous answers, is not a good guess.
I mean, all I really know is that it said RS Corridor. But I had the star date down as 47310, so I thought 47210. But then Time Lord said I thought it was 47310. I was like, I wrote down 47310 as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's right. Bit of a guess.
Let's have a look. Can I find the picture of the presentation? 47,
there was one, yes.
47,
I remember seeing
310.
RS Corridor. 310.
47, 310. So,
yes, suppose 310. So it was a typo.
Does that mean I'm right as well then?
I was. The answer is A.
Damn it.
It is 47, 310. I was hoping to lead you guys there with the fact that it started with 47. So this is my 47 rep. And the USS Intrepid is an Intrepid class. So.
Oh.
Damn it.
Ruth got that right. Yeah, I was thinking, because it said it was a medical transport, but yeah, of course, that's not like its formal class, is it?
Yeah, but the Fleming is in the Intrepid, though. So.
I guessed. I just said Excelsior. I had no idea. No idea. I just figured, well...
So Bruce's the only one who got the bonus right, so she's on her own with Tavi and Wookie and
Reveal. It's either good luck or bad luck. So you got Dark Angel on one side and
Oh, I've just deleted the wrong one. I meant to delete not that one, that one. Put you sandwiched there, Ruth. Right, ready? I've got my fingers and toes crossed for you, Ruth, to be honest. Let's see. Do 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 do. Oh no, Ruth.
Oh, poor Ruth.
I'm afraid you're just going to have to take
Wookie,
out
you're so
on Wooks, I'm
mean.
afraid. How Wookie could be that mean to you, Ruth, I don't know. It's a catastrophe.
How many people actually got A? A. Yeah, so it was 3 people. Okay, cool.
Yeah, there we go. Oh dear. You need a Wookiee sound effect. I do need a Wookiee sound effect. I don't have one. No.
Oh my.
I have an oh my and I have a boing. But that doesn't help, does it?
Use the boing for Wookiee, definitely.
Hey.
Shut up, Sean.
I got my shut up Sean, but I don't need that button anymore.
Shut up, Sean.
I could, you know.
You can use it on us if we ramble as well. We'll let you.
Yeah, okay. I'll just go,
Shut up, Sean.
Maz.
Love it.
Okay, right. Back to the pictures.
Oh, there's so many bingos to mark off. What happened?
Well, it's going through thick and fast. So, Act 2, the Enterprise returns fire and knocks out the Ferengi weapon system. I can't help it. I do like the Ferengi Marauder, that ship.
It is one of my
It's a
favorite.
very cool looking ship. It just looks way
For the
too...
longest time, I thought it was backwards. I thought the front was the back and the back was the front.
Yeah. Like a horseshoe crab.
Yeah.
It's I just think it looks too like sexy and sleek and cool looking for Ferengi, to be a Ferengi ship. It just, you know what I mean? Just.
But you have to admit, a lot of their stuff is like insect shaped. So their world is that wet planet, and it's like a marsh and a wetland. And they eat a lot of bugs. Yeah. Even their shuttlecraft look a little like bug like.
They do.
So and this here looks like a crayfish sort of crabby thing, yeah.
Data reports that the Ferengi systems have powered back up and they have impulse power. They were just playing dead. The Ferengi Damon Prax asks why they have been attacked and threatens to inform the Ferengi Alliance and start a war. Picard offers to beam him aboard and discuss it, but when Prax refuses, Picard's like, well, fine then, we'll just go and leave you here to drift endlessly in space, which changes Damon Prax's mind and he readily agrees to a meeting. Picard, smug mode engaged. In the ready room, Prax tells them how they came across a Federation signal buoy that emitted a Veritom pulse and disabled their ship. They assumed it was a new Federation weapon. Riker mentions that they have also lost a medical transport ship. Prax says they passed that ship a few days ago, but with all the repairs that they have to make, they do not have time to pull any information about it from their computer banks. Picard offers a repair team to help with their repairs in exchange for the required information, and Prax agrees. Meanwhile, in his quarters, Data's training Spot not to sit on his desk. But to be fair, it's not going very well. He's like, the desk is up. Up is no. The cat doesn't get it. Geordi arrives, wanting help to boost the power conversion levels again, and asks Data how the training's going, and Data confirms that he's not been entirely successful. Spot leaps to under the replicator and meows, and Data understands that is the feline's command for supplement number 221, and provides Spot with the required meal. After the meal, Spot meows and Data understands that as it's time to play with the string and grabs the string and plays with Spot. Geordi comments that his training Spot might not be going very well, but Spot's training of Data is coming along very nicely. It's quite funny, isn't it? That, you know, of all like the massive brain power of Data and that, it's like it's Spot that's doing the successful training.
I would have to say, it's pretty feasible as well. Because you imagine Data can pick up all these different sound waves. So for me, I thought, of course he can understand what the cat's saying because they vary their pitch so much. So I would not be surprised if there was two-way communication. But then again, I'm thinking, well, why isn't he making cat noises that he knows? All cat people have meowed back at their cat at some point.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I've chosen to believe.
Yeah. Meow. Geordie comment. Oh no, I've just done that. So later in engineering, Geordie reveals a communication from Kaplan that taunts him with the with Kaplan's power conversion rate is at 97.1 and suggests Geordie cleans out his plasma grid for once in a while. That there's fighting talk, that is. The barb from Kaplan goes straight over Data's head, who tells Geordie that they regularly clean out the plasma grid. Geordie's latest change puts the Enterprise at 97.2%, and Geordie's really pleased with himself. Later on, the Enterprise comes across a debris field and suggests that the Fleming may have come to an unfortunate end. And on the bridge, Data analyzes the debris field and finds its composition of mostly germanium and polycomposite alloy, and the mass suggests that it is indeed the Fleming. They decide to investigate the debris field further. You got out to request dad jokes, I mean.
Yeah, and of course, when you say further here, of course, I wish Sean were here because at this point, he would say, "The Fleming is here, and no further," because he would get that somewhere. So, on behalf of John, I had to put that in. Just it triggered that flashback.
Yeah. It's a good job Smiler Rainbow was around because she got the whole smug mode initiated. Was a Red Dwarf reference. So, which I put in there purposefully to get a Red Dwarf reference in there somewhere. Yes.
If April showers bring May flowers, what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims.
Oh, pushed the wrong button. Yeah, very good, very good. And
I'm sure Time Lord knows, but Plymouth, where Monty Ban and I are from, is where the Mayflower steps are, when the Mayflower set off. So yeah, good historical place connecting our two continents.
And our football team are called the Pilgrims.
They are. The little mascot is called Pilgrim Pete.
Yeah. He's just by my... you can just make him out just by my microphone there in the background. Just about. Shall I put myself on big so you can see it? Right. Can you see him back there, Miss?
Who?
Pilgrim Pete. You just... Yeah. You need a big screen. You need a big screen, I think.
Yeah. Can I see it looks like a snowman down on the bottom shelf behind you.
Hey?
I just can't see properly.
A snowman?
Yeah, it looks like a snowman. Maybe it's Pilgrim Pete.
That's Pilgrim Pete.
Oh, yeah, that is Pilgrim Pete with a hat on. I can't see him.
It's Pilgrim hat, look.
Got there in the end.
Yeah. And I got my Starfleet teddy bear. Is like there. See him there. I'll make it bigger again. Look, see, you can just make out his uniform. Look there. That's my Starfleet teddy bear.
Oh yeah, I can.
Oh yeah, I see him in the dark, very sinister looking, with the light shining up.
He's with the uplight there. He looks quite sinister. He's actually pointing a phaser in my direction, so I got to be careful. Moopsie.
Obligatory Moopsie. And this is what, a Lower Decks reference, right? Mitzi time.
It is.
Mitzi
Yeah.
do with that.
Lower
Mitzi
decks.
do with that.
Yeah.
Love him.
Okay. Right, where was I? Somewhere. That's where I was. Oh, I was just going to mention today's ops and con are almost touching. They're almost sitting in each other's laps today. You couldn't walk between those, could you? Well, I certainly couldn't. Okay, so data detects a small metal object, maybe a probe casing, so they continue to investigate it, but then unfortunately it emits a Veriton field. So Picard orders shields up and full reverse. That was to no avail, though. Oh, crud. I had the wrong browser selected. Yeah. It knocks out their... Oh, no. Didn't want that. It knocks out their shield and warp drive and all their subspace systems. And Riker comments, that's just like what happened to the Ferengi. Yeah. Thanks, Riker. An unidentified ship arrives with only 2 life forms on board, and they beam into engineering. I'm surprised it's an unidentified ship. We've seen it 20 times before already in various episodes. It's always that ship, isn't it?
It's
looks like a TIE fighter as well.
It's a Talarian ship.
Or an X-wing. It looks like an X-wing.
Talarian ship. It was in Almost Human, wasn't it? With that kid that was part of the aliens, and it was a ship with a perfect mate was brought aboard. It was that ship, and the Talarians, and it's been lots of ships. That ship.
It could be the Honda Civic or something of space, it's just a model. Can you imagine in this world that there actually might be a Starship car salesman, sort of the guy around who's like, in this year, your FTL, small size or mid-size Starship capable of Warp 7 is now available in gold. I mean, I can imagine they all get these models. Everyone wouldn't have to make their own after a while. Certainly, it's a Ferengi car salesman or a Ferengi Starship salesman.
Yeah, definitely. It's got to be a Ferengi. Geordi reports that they're intruders, and Worf sends a security team. They tell Geordi that they have come to make them listen, that they are killing them. And we get a close-up picture of Geordi's shocked face. What? And that's the end of Act 2. It's question time. It seems like an interesting strategy, right? Because obviously, they've hit other ships with this, like the medical ship and the Ferengi ship, but did they board those ships and try to convince those people? Or they just decided to do that with the Enterprise for some reason?
It had to be like, these people are important.
They knock out the flagship of the Federation and decide to just beam into the engineering bay and just assume it'll all go well.
They could have gone to a less threatening place for sure.
Yeah,
you're definitely not going to get blasted into oblivion there. All right, question. What energy pulse did the Federation buoy emit? Verteron, tachyon, sorry for the spelling, tetryon, and baryon. So A, Verteron, B, tachyon, C, tetryon, D, baryon. And the bonus is, what energy pulse weapon does a Ferengi marauder emit to disable ships when they retreat?
That is a deep cut, Tavi.
Yes,
that is a deep cut.
I love Ferengi. What? There's a marauder here. You guys didn't go into it? It's at the top.
No.
It's at the top of their memory alpha sheet. Come on.
Oh.
It's the famous weapon of that ship.
sure I know somewhere in the back recesses of my brain box, but I can't find it right now. Okay, so Act 2, what have we got? Damon Prack is played by Lee Arenberg, who's appeared in 5 different roles in all 4 Star Trek spin-off series. He is Grau of Ferengi in the Nagus. He's Park in Force of Nature. He's, or Prack, that's supposed to be, I think, Bok in Bloodlines. He's Pelk in Juggernaut, and he's Graal, a Tellarite, in Babel 1 and United. So yeah, lots of different roles that dude's had.
He has.
What else? So you know when Data leans down to feed Spot? Don't you have noticed? But as his sleeve goes up, it's like a good couple of inches of nice pink skin instead of green. Have you got a still of that? I don't suppose you have.
I don't think I... No, I haven't. No, I didn't.
That's fine. What else? Oh, and yeah, we already mentioned about their ship and how it's been used in multiple different places. That's all I have for this act. Anything else? I didn't look up these people. They didn't look familiar, but I haven't actually checked if they've been in anything else.
No, I don't know. It didn't look particularly familiar. Although he might look slightly familiar.
Yeah, I'll check it out and I'll tell you in a little bit when I find out.
Find out. Let us know. She certainly didn't look familiar.
That's everybody answered the questions. We got 5 lots of answers.
I quite like their skin tendrils coming off their heads.
You like their skin tendrils? That just sounds
they've got flayed skin tendrils coming off the side of their heads. It's different.
Yes, Star Trek, they like a good forehead, don't they?
They do. They love a forehead.
Yeah.
Get your bumpy foreheads here. Okay, yeah. We got answers to the questions.
All right.
I'm feeling good about this bonus question.
Okay. So the answer for the multiple choice is A, Verteron. And the bonus, what is the energy pulse weapon? It is a electromagnetic pulse.
Oh.
Tyler said it's a directed energy electromagnetic pulse.
That's the one. That's pretty
Got to
much
be right.
I said super mega
shooting for a
repulsor
super
beam.
mega repulsor beam.
Well, I kind of got pulse in there. I kind of I have one word in the middle of it there. I think with Tired Time Lord's the only one on the thing this time, isn't he?
Only one on the wheel. 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
In fact, no, it's a 66-33 chance. So that's a good chance of getting 10 points.
It's pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty good now with Tavi on there. It gives you a little bit more of a chance.
Yeah.
Right. I'm spinning the wheel. Do 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 do. Tired Time Lord takes the points.
Woo-hoo! Yay!
Woo! Well done, sir. Doing very well.
Right, of magic.
Oh, he likes my Deep Space Nine poster. Oh, thank you very much. Yes. Okay. Right. We're on to Act 3. Motoring along. Motoring. Okay. So, naturally, the senior staff meet the intruders in the observation lounge. Why wouldn't you? It's when someone invades your ship, just invite them to the observation lounge for a coffee. To find out what their boggle is. They tell them how the warp fields are causing gravitational shifts that are causing their planet to become inhabitable, which is not good. Geordi has heard of their research, but the Science Council found that it didn't hold up Picard thinks that they should have gone back to the Science Council with more evidence if they have it, rather than commit acts of terrorism. Savova, though,
point.
It's a fair point by Picard, you know. Terrorism.
I do think it's a fair point, but I also think it's a shitty point. If someone is telling you the orbit or the conditions of our planet are actually being changed and we think we know why, I do think they should have given it a way deeper look than that. They've gone out of their way to stop issues from interacting with planets that have, you know, Neanderthals crawling on it. And you have a warp-capable planet here who might also be a Federation member that's telling you this is effing up our shit. And the slightest change in someone's orbit or gravitation could fling a planet out of orbit and into the void and just become a dead planet. So that they didn't take it seriously here, I don't think it's too fair. It's terrorist attack quality issues here. So I don't know. I mean, that's just me. But back to Titan.
History shows us, though, doesn't it, that sometimes scientific theories are difficult to shift people's perspective of if you don't automatically have damning evidence to hand. It's the nature of things, and you're gonna have a scientific theory over time can almost become doctrine, and they have a whole galaxy of warp drives out there that seemingly have been spent the past over 400 years traversing the galaxy without a problem. So for this one almost new to it race come along and go, "You're destroying the galaxy," seemed almost incredulous to the Scientific Council without any real evidence. So I can understand how they got to this point. But yeah, it is a difficult situation for all.
You would think they would have been a bit more advanced by this time, though, to not have that sort of scientific attitude. But then again, they laughed Sung out when he couldn't prove his stuff yet. But I'm like, how many famous scientists have they listened to, and then given them, you know, the respect instead of going, "You're an effing idiot"? They would have never done that to Einstein or anyone like that.
And then, even after all these years and what they learned about genetic research, the Federation allow a group of scientists in a Federation outpost to produce genetically modified children that can telepathic and have telekinesis and that, but unfortunately age everyone they come in contact with. So it's like, why did they agree to that? Isn't that against the law? But anyway.
Very good fancy wording in the research proposal.
That's right. Yeah.
But they did say they do allow genetic whatchamacallit, if the alterations, if the child has like a debilitating issue. So maybe they're like, get all the kids that have an issue.
Yeah.
And we'll say we're going to try to fix them, because that's when we're allowed to use the DNA messing around. Okay, back to
we just accidentally make them superhuman while we're at it. Yeah. Whoopsies. So Savova, I think, is that how you say her name? Savova? Savova offers to help get the Enterprise back up and running in exchange for the crew to review their new research. Picard reluctantly agrees due to the severity of the claim. Picard tells them on the condition that the probes are deactivated and they won't be pursuing any more terrorist activities. And Rabble agrees to the terms, but Savova is not happy about that. Picard orders Geordi to work on the warp core and orders Data to analyze the research. Later in engineering, Geordi is working with Savova. She tries to convince him of the validity of their research, but he just finds her irritating. Rabble has to go to convince him as well, but Geordi tells him that If there's anything to it, Data will find if it is true. Rabble also points out that not only does he have to convince Starfleet not to use warp drives, but he also, warp drives in the corridor, but he also has to convince his own people to give up warp drives entirely. Geordi points out that will leave them isolated, but Rabble's like, well, so be it, unfortunately. In stellar cartography, Data finds that it is possible that subspace instabilities within the region will rupture, causing a subspace rift if continually exposed to warp fields, but recommends that more research needs to determine if that is the case, because at the moment it's just Data's supposition. Sarova is disappointed at this result of more research and wants action now. She claims to have expected nothing else from Starfleet. Then Riker informs them that they've located the Fleming. Picard tells the Hakarans that he will personally back the research submission to the Science Council, but that is not enough for Sarova. On the bridge, they lay in a course for the Fleming and are about to get underway when Worf reports that the Hakaran ship is manoeuvring away and has one person on board, Sarova. They hail her, and Rabble tries to talk her down, but she's intent on giving them the proof they need. She triggers a warp core breach, and the ship goes kablooey, creating a subspace rift. And that is the end of Act 3. And Tabikins,
Where's that?
it's question time.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to say, I thought the job they did on that warp, on that rift was outstanding. You could see stuff like getting sucked into what looked like a hole, and I don't know if it was like that in the original one. I don't remember it being that clear.
No, I don't have the. They don't have the comparison of non-HD to HD on this one, so I don't know. I imagine it's very similar. Most of the special effects are redone, but they do look authentic to the original. So I imagine it was probably very similar.
All right, to the questions. Who reviewed the Hakarans' research? A, Daystrom Institute. B, the Federation Science Bureau. C, the Federation Science Council. Or D, the Vulcan Science Academy. It was supposed to be on the end of that one. And the bonus is, what TNG Trek movie involved a subspace phenomenon?
Oh.
You said at the end of this, and there was a subspace, whatever it was. But in my notes, I have, she made a purple swirly.
She made a purple swirly. It's very purple.
Pretty purple
Hold
swirly.
on. I'm going to give everyone a hint. It is not Generations. Because the Nexus was not a subspace phenomenon.
Maybe.
It was external to subspace.
I don't know.
I'm going to go for...
Gosh, I keep dropping my phone. Right. Oh.
I'm going for First Contact for the subspace rift that the ball created. So,
nice, yeah. Interesting.
I don't know.
So, what have we got?
I will say that I would have said Generations if Tavi hadn't said it's definitely not Generations. So that's because I would have totally gone with the Nexus. But there you go.
Wookiee says, was it Galaxy Quest? Good guess. Good guess.
It's a good guess. It's not right.
Time Lord says that Galaxy Quest is the best Trek movie.
Yeah, that does count as Trek. But I need to. Well, after you brought up First Contact, and Galaxy Quest, I'm like, oh, maybe this wasn't a clear-cut question.
What is your favorite movie, Time Lord? Let me know. What is your favorite Star Trek movie? Inquiring
Not
minds want to
TNG,
know.
all movies, yeah.
All Star Trek movies. What's your favorite? Yeah.
Nice. So I haven't got too much, but obviously this episode continues the tradition of using 24th century matters to comment on social and political conditions in real life, with, this kind of hinting about things like fossil fuel emissions and stuff like that, adding to climate change. So some people have commented on the fact that Sarova claims that warp drive is endangering her planet, and then she causes this warp core breach, thus endangering her planet. Other people have said no, because she did it really far away, but by the end of the episode, they say it's already affecting the weather conditions and the gravity on their planet. So she's basically her own planet up.
But, I mean, as it seemed like they were in such a delicate state, creating a subspace rift right next to it can't do their planet any good, can it?
No.
I don't think so. They made it sound like it was cumulative as well. So it's like...
Yeah. So she's just kind of pushed them a lot further forward in the problem than they would have otherwise been. And that's about it. That's all I've got, I'm afraid.
Favorite movie in the Trek total, I see, is Wrath of Khan. I see. So Generations is your favorite TNG movie. With you.
Nice.
I'd have to say Generations. Generations is my favorite Trek movie. However, First Contact is my favorite movie because it was just data delicious. So every Sung fan was all wishing they were the Borg Queen for a few moments. Like, oh, that is a self-insert fantasy.
I'm afraid I'm old.
Mine's
so it's
probably First Contact and Voyage Home.
Yeah. Mine's, because I'm old, it's Wrath of Khan, Undiscovered Country, and Voyage Home. Third. It's my top three.
Sean is here.
Hey, Shawnee.
How is the performance?
Too much nebula and not enough data.
I did love all the lighting that was on Data, because in this one he had some nice shots, and he's going through different rooms, so he's getting the blue light on him, and other ones he's got like this dim light, this nice bright crisp light. It was Data juicy. I remained entertained throughout the entire episode. It was difficult for me to make these questions. Mr. Sean, if you were hearing this, I did not get your trivia questions. I was being distracted from watching Data, and I was like, let me make some spare questions just in case. And now I'm here typing it like a Mad Hatter because you're like, no, I got it. I'm like, oh, good. I don't need to do it. But then, whoa.
There you go. Always
we didn't get it, Sean. Abuse.
Like a Girl Scout.
So what are the answers?
Oh, yes, to the answers. What was the question even about again? Okay.
Who reviewed their research?
Who reviewed the research? And my favorite go-to guess is C. Answer C, the Federation Science Council. And the bonus, the bonus actually had two options. So if you picked one of these two, it would have been correct. The most correct one, or at least the one I was going for, is insurrection. But First Contact did also have a form of subspace travel. As they pointed out, the Borg were shimmying on through some stuff. So if you put First Contact or insurrection, you are correct.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it means I am on the thing.
Huh?
So who's on
the wheel?
Who's on the wheel?
I got insurrection.
Okay.
Monty Pan's on with first contact. Tired Time Lord's on with first contact. Ruth said generations. I don't know if she put in another one. Oh, and first contact. So yeah, she's in. And
Ruth's in.
Yeah. And I just don't see one from Stuplum. So I think it's everybody but Stuplum.
Oh, we got quite a few names then for this. Right, we're spinning the wheel. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. It's Tired Time Lord just beat you out there, Maz.
Nicely done.
So close. But Tired Time Lord ended up with the points.
Well done.
Well done, Mr. Time Lord. Okay, Act 4.
Act 4.
Your man. Data reports that the rift is 0.1 light years in diameter and is emitting high levels of tetrion radiation. The Fleming is still in one piece, but unfortunately is now inside the rift. It got sucked in. Riker asks Rabble if the Fleming can survive in the rift like this, but he is in shock and doesn't really know. So Picard orders Data, Geordi and Rabble to come up with a rescue plan. We get a rare second officer's log from Data, who tells us that despite the improvements to the sensors, they still cannot counteract the rift's effects. Data, Geordi, and Rabble find that the rift fully supports the Sarova's theories, and that there is no way to close it or reduce it in size. Their planet is screwed. Data suggests finding a stable region within the rift where the Enterprise can use its warp engines, but unfortunately there is none. While studying it, Geordi finds a second area of subspace instability outside the rift, which should be impossible. Rabel promises to study it, while LaForge tells Picard there's no practical way to reach the Fleming in time, but Data has an idea. In the ready room, Data suggests to Picard that they coast the Enterprise into the rift by initiating a brief but intense warp pulse. From their current position, they would be only at warp for 2 minutes or so it wouldn't give them much time, but it would be theoretically possible. In engineering, Data has worked out that 2 minutes of warp will clear them of the rift, so begins saturating the warp nacelles with a warp field at 18.3%.
Excuse me.
Hello?
I would like to voice my appreciation for Brent Spiner's figure in this pose. I'm liking how that uniform is hanging off him. Look at that elastic hip line where the top ends and then the slacks begin. Just look at that. He's got solid 3D going on right there. Those long arms. What? I'm just, yeah. That was all.
Are you done? Are you?
I can be done. You don't want to leave that option.
I'm gonna get this off screen as quick as I can.
Don't do that. Just keep talking.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yes, Geordi is struggling to wrap his head around how he could have missed that warp field could cause so much damage to space. Data points out that Sarova's theory, this is the blue lighting that you mentioned earlier, Sarova's theory is not provable in the time frames provided. And her aggressive... Her aggressive attitude created an adversarial relationship that would have aided in Geordi's resistance. Geordi concedes that maybe he took it personally and felt threatened that warp engines could do such a thing. He then goes to 10 forward and joins Rabel at a table. He is sorry for Rabel's loss and feels responsible in part for what happened. Rabel tells him he isn't. His sister was impatient and not willing to wait for change. Geordi doubts the Federation are going to abandon warp drive easily, and Rabel concedes that the way forward will not be an easy one. On the bridge, they're ready to ride the warp wave. Geordie initiates.
Boing! The luster meter would have just gone off the charts then, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
That last picture.
Yeah.
Time Lord was saying we need an on-screen graphic like a data luster meter, and then this picture came on, and I just imagined the luster meter shooting up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Woo. I'm sorry, Mr. Tabakins, but yeah, you might want to give me and Mr. Data some privacy. I mean, the zipper on my uniform is already loose.
It's getting a bit hot under the collar, was it?
Oh yeah.
This is the Enterprise with a warp pulse going whoosh, and she went whoosh. They coast into the rift. Yeah, they coast into the rift, and all is looking good until they detect the Fleming powering up its warp drive. They're sat in their seats going, no, don't do it, don't activate your. Oh, you've gone and done it. God damn it. The Fleming activates its warp drive and causes a massive shockwave in the rift, damaging the Fleming and increasing the size of the rift, so they no longer have enough momentum to take the Enterprise back out.
You would think in the future that they would have a system not unlike Morse code in case comms are down. I feel like comms is a system that can constantly go down, but at least flash some lights or something. Just somebody go out there and be like something.
You would think,
but they're advanced.
And we're left with a shot of the Enterprise sort of like floating quietly through the void, the purple void. And that's the end of Act 4. What does that sound mean? That sound means it's question time.
It's question time.
So question time theme tune, nice.
And let me get that bonus in there. A copy.
Sean has provided a dad joke, not realizing that we've done one earlier, but he says, what's got 6 legs, is covered in green fur, and if it falls out of a tree, it could kill you? A snooker table. Yay.
It's pretty bad.
I like it.
It's pretty bad.
All right. Question for Act 4. What systems were out on the Fleming? A, life support. B, subspace. C, transporter. Or D, the tractor beams. And bonus, without faster than light travel, what part of a black hole could not be escaped?
Guesses here. I'm gonna go with C and Event Horizon. Don't know if that's right. Oh, it says even horizon, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I don't have much for this act other than this whole maximum warp speed thingy. So earlier, Time Lord mentioned that, after this, they don't seem to really mention it again. So this is the first episode where a maximum warp speed limit was imposed by this Federation on all Starfleet vessels. There were further references to this in the Pegasus and Eye of the Beholder later in the season, but it's rarely been referenced since. There was an unpublished Voyager season 1 episode technical guide that suggested because of the variable geometry pylons, warp fields may no longer have a negative impact. Plus, there was a book it was mentioned in a book that the new Class 9 warp drive being tested and the new Intrepid class warships had been designed not to have those harmful effects on subspace. So, they were successful, and basically all of the Starfleet vessels had their warp cores replaced with new ones so that it didn't cause the problem. That's why it was never really brought up again. So yeah, they basically fixed the problem. Just so you know.
They would have to do that because they've already messed up the map of the space that they have. And if they take everyone down to 5, technically it would take months, if not years, to get to certain parts of space that they're constantly talking about. You definitely couldn't get from Earth to Deep Space Nine in a week. On Warp 5. But you can imagine the Dominion War really caused some problems with this this speed limit issue. So I'm wondering, did stuff just start going to shit in space because of that, or was it just this area that was showing degradation?
I think it's because of all the tetryon fields in this area of space. It was more susceptible, so it's like a thin part of space. So the trouble is rearing its head here first, but it's happening everywhere in theory. It's just normal space is more robust kind of thing. It's like the rest of space is like England, and this area is like Wales. Well, I only say that because Wales reduced their rural speed limit down to 20 miles an hour across the whole country. So unless you're on like a motorway now in Wales, in every city, in every town in Wales, the speed limit's 20 miles an hour everywhere.
Wow. Did not know that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I think everybody's answered. We've got A's, B's, and C's, so definitely not everybody is right.
Wow. Split decision.
Well, the answer is B, subspace.
Montyban's the only one who got it right.
Woo! Whoa for Montyban. Well done.
Woohoo and oh no at the same time.
I didn't know subspace was... Oh, like subspace as in the communications, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Subspace systems. Yeah. But what about the bonus?
And the bonus is you cannot escape the event horizon once if you do not have faster than light travel, because that's why light is swirling around the black hole that way, because it's getting sucked in at a speed faster than light can travel.
Technically, I put anything beyond the event horizon, because if like they had shields to go into a star, if they had shields that could go past the event horizon into the black hole itself, a faster than light engine would be the only thing that could possibly get you back out again. So, yeah. But yes, event horizon. Does that mean we're all on the thing?
Yeah, except for Dupla. Did not answer event horizon.
Same as
Everybody
last time.
else, I think it's... Yeah, that's correct, yeah. And you've just gone into the lead, by the way, Montyban.
Have I?
Being the only person to answer that 100-point question correctly.
Crikey O'Reilly. Right, here's bonus points. Yes.
Oh, that's 2 in 1 day.
2 in 1 day.
Golly.
Up there with Time Lord monopolizing. So we got 2 Time Lords, 2 Mazes, and a Wookiee.
No Montybands.
Yep.
No Montybands, no. Not been lucky with the wheel tonight.
Nor has Ruth. She's the only one who's got a minus 10.
Ruth has been very unlucky with the wheel. Okay, final act of the evening. Here we go. So the intensity of the energy distortion waves has increased by a factor of 10. Data reports that they are now occurring every 59 seconds. The Enterprise, in range, evacuates the Fleming's crew via the transporters. Because the distortion waves are both intense and frequent, the hull stress is reaching a maximum tolerance. Geordie contacts the bridge and has come up with a plan to ride the distortion wave like a surfer. Once the last of the Fleming crew is beamed aboard, Picard gives the go-ahead, and they give it a go, but the wave passes over them, as they couldn't maintain the correct resonance with the wave. Data suggests going full impulse, and Data suggests going full impulse to lessen the wave's impact when it hits, and it'll help them get carried along. And Picard's make it so.
It's okay, Monty. I start stuttering and sputtering too when he's
I can stay on this picture as long as you want, eh? Yeah.
I know.
You've got the nice red glow there. You were saying about the
affecting you too.
Yeah, we got him with a nice blue glow earlier. Now we got him with a nice red glow. So all the glorious shots this evening.
You don't have to turn on the red light.
But I quite liked the analogy with like the surfer, because like when you're trying to catch a wave in surfing, you gotta paddle, haven't you? You got to get yourself up to like a speed, acceptable speed where you can catch the wave. You can't just stand there and let the wave carry you. So it's kind of like, yeah, Data understands the concept of surfing. Make it so. So they get carried along with the wave, and the whole stresses get to 120% of tolerance, and they make their way out. I was a bit disappointed by the effect of when the wave hit and kind of just like bounced the corner of the ship, and the ship kind of spun forward. I was expecting it more to look like the Excelsior being swallowed by the wave in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, you know, when Praxis blows up and that wave comes along. And he's like, steer her into the wave. And it looks really cool. Yeah, it didn't look anything like that. It didn't look anything near as cool as that.
What? They didn't have a film budget?
No, unfortunately not. They do the whole when they're in the wave. They do the whole like you know. Yeah, a lot of that going on. And then we see the Enterprise kind of get spat out backwards as it spins out into space.
I would have really hoped to see, like, when you see structural integrity, you kind of almost want to see areas of the ship actually like warp a tiny bit and like, you know, I guess just strain, as opposed to it looking like, oh, there's nothing wrong with the ships. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, integrity. Nothing's wrong. It looks fine. Then you see a Ferengi, like somebody was saying in chat, just pat the side. It's as good as new.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with this, baby.
Later in the observation lounge, Geordi reports that they have found subspace instabilities all over the sector. Rabel gives a PowerPoint presentation on how the region will look over time and how it will look in 40 years from now. And it'll be decimated, basically.
Yeah, they look like they're fucked.
It does look that way. Yeah.
Or they're going to be definitely some purple skies.
Yeah. Purple rain, purple rain. Picard then receives a message from Starfleet. Until we find a way of counteracting the warp field effects, the Council feels our best course of action is to slow the damage as much as possible. Therefore, areas of space found susceptible to warp fields will be restricted to essential travel only. And effective immediately, all Federation vessels will be limited to a speed of warp 5, except in cases of extreme emergencies. Worf tells them that the Klingons will abide by this, but others won't, like the Romulans. Picard tells them that they will share their research with all Federation and non-Federation races in the hope that they get the best results possible. Picard laments to Geordi that all this time he has been visiting strange new worlds, and whilst he's at it, he's been damaging the very things he holds most dear. But Geordie tells him that it won't turn out that way, sir. They'll have plenty of time to fix it. And that is how we end the episode. And that is now is time for a question time. Question time!
Let me get that into the chat so you can...
Yes, I love space. I broke space. that is Picard. Yep.
I love space. But that's a very good quote. Yeah. Please put that in one of your skits. Question 5. Which decks were on which decks were the U.S. Enterprise's structural integrity fields failing? We got decks 10 through 18. B, decks 10 through 13. C, decks 10 through 14. D, decks 10 through 16. And the bonus is, what Star Trek TNG enemy has a space travel method that may bypass damaging space?
Oh, I know. Oh, that's a good one, Ruth. Well,
difficult.
I am going to say... I wanted to say C as well, but everybody's going C, and I feel I should go something different.
It's a guess, I must say.
I'm going to go something different. And...
Time Lord answered the bonus with like 4 options or something. It's pretty good. Covering his bases. I forgot to say earlier, you know the question about RS Corridor 47310?
Oh, Q. Didn't think about Q, did I? Sorry, Mass.
Earlier, there was the question about the LCARS display and the slide deck saying RS Corridor 47310. But we didn't really discuss why it was RS Corridor, did we? It was actually supposed to be the... what was it supposed to be? The Hakaras Corridor.
Hakara, yeah.
But they spelt it wrong initially, Hakaras. It was supposed to be RAS at the end, but they put like Hakaras. And then somehow, like it was flagged that it was wrong, and most of the word got deleted, and just the wrong RS bit on the end remained. So it's supposed to say Hakaras Corridor, but it was just like a typo left and ended up being RS Corridor.
Oh, wow.
That's a weirdy one.
Yeah.
And there was a little slip of the tongue from Data. I know, Tabby would probably like his slip of the tongue. But you actually said it correctly, Monty Ban, that they were at 120% of tolerance. But he didn't actually say that. He said they were 120% above tolerance, which is kind of wrong because that implies that they're like at 220%.
220% of tolerance.
So, it was a slight slip of the tonguey.
That's rather disastrous.
Yeah, they would be ripped to shreddies by then. And what else? Even though they talked a lot about the Fleming never appears on screen. They never communicate directly with them, and none of the people that have beamed over appear on screen. So it's what do you call that thing where it's like a plot device? I can't remember. There's a word for it, but yeah, never mind. And that's about it for that act. Do we have all of the answers?
No,
C's and A's and D's. A MacGuffin, that's the one.
There we go.
A MacGuffin. I'm sure there's going to be a MacGuffin for the last season of Discovery, where they'll have to go and find a MacGuffin. They're bound to have to go around around the galaxy collecting MacGuffins to piece them together to create an Uber MacGuffin to, I don't know, defeat some sort of big bad thing that's about to destroy the galaxy or something. I don't know.
And they'll name it MacGuffin Face.
MacGuffin.
No, right.
Yeah, MacGuffin Face.
We haven't got. Oh yes, we have got Ruth. Ruth has a time. I think we've got everybody's answers, haven't we?
Yeah. So what was the answer to the question then? The multiple choice.
Multiple choice. The correct answer was D. Decks 10 through 16.
Woo! Monty Ban and Stuplum got that.
That was a lucky guess.
The answer's wrong.
That was only because I wanted to answer something different to you guys.
That's a good one. And the bonus?
The bonus is the Borg or the Romulans.
Yeah, I was just going to say Romulan, but then I copied Ruth's Borg idea because I thought, yeah, they use a transwarp conduit, don't they, rather than a warp drive. And the Romulans use a singularity, which is like a mini warp black hole.
Because that folds space, right? Or something of that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then Q, time was correct. Q just snaps his fingers to get about, doesn't he? So he kind of...
Good point.
Yeah.
Like it. But I think everybody got one or the other. Ruth got Borg, I got Romulan, Time Lord got them all, you got both, and Stuplum got Borg. So that's everybody for the wheel.
Right, I've just got to add Stuplum onto it then as well.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's whack a few more on.
Wiki scored Zilch, always being ostracized for being special. You are special. We treat you special by not giving you points. You don't like it when we try.
I'll put loads on this time. Spin the wheel. Do-do, do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Yes, Stuplum. Well done, Stuplum. He finally got put on the wheel and got the points. Come away with the points. Well done, sir. Well done.
Should we call it for the bingo? So
let's call it for the bingo. Let's call it for the quiz. Call it for the bingo. Let's tot up those scores. And yeah.
We'll do a bit of a wash-up opinionator. If people can also start thinking about getting their scores out of 10 in chat, pretty please. That would be nice. Yeah, so there was some reception. Not great reception, to be honest, from the people who worked on the show.
Leave that picture.
So when they first wrote it, it turned out to be very short. So then they added in the stuff about Data's cat afterwards. And then they said that by bad luck, all of those scenes to be at the beginning. So it kind of was a bit fitful and seemed to be about the cat. And then it was about Geordie and his rivalry. And then it was about this other alien species. And so it kind of got a bit lost and never really got back on track. So that's one opinion. Regarding that weak A and B plot, Shankar explained that the connection between it is supposed to be the notion that you can't control forces of nature like a cat.
I was wondering about that, right? Because I was thinking, as I was watching this, I was thinking, like, how does this relate? Because usually, like, it's, I don't know, like Data trying to, like, discover a piece of his humanity or something. Or, you know, there's always some, like, matching, like, parable to the main story. It was
tenuous at best.
No, I couldn't figure it out. And it's just like, why did they put these random scenes with Spot? I mean, they were very cool and funny, and I really enjoyed them. I thought it was probably the best part of the show. But it didn't go anywhere, and I couldn't see how it was connected to the episode in any way, and it just seemed really odd. And what I decided in my brain box was, Spot's been a boy up to now, but they realised they wanted it to be a girl for Genesis, the episode coming up. So I just thought, maybe they decided to put these scenes in it just to establish Spot as a girl. Because I couldn't, but I see it was padding. It was padding because they didn't have enough story for the main story.
Correct.
Let's see.
I mean, it kind of gets worse. So Michael Pillar says that I think this is the worst show I worked on this season. It inspired us to have several meetings over where the season was going. I felt we were letting it slip away. There were preposterous moments, etc. The production staff were unanimously disappointed with this episode. Taylor commented, I've been on enough series and tried to do environmental issues to realize they're hard to dramatize. Shankar regretted the emotional arc of Geordie's sister. And, of Geordie's sister coming aboard. Regretted that the emotional arc of Geordie's sister coming aboard was dropped rather than reworked. So that must have been one of the changes that was made in the many sort of rewrites. So I mean, not generally really not received very well by the people who worked on it.
No, and I can understand some of those comments really about this episode. I don't think it was terrible.
No, I didn't either.
It wasn't a classic. It's remembered because of the whole restricting warp drive and whatnot. It's got sort of lore tendrils there to other episodes and things. Time Lord's dropping off for dinner, but thanks for coming along, dude. Hope you have a nice dinner. What have you got? What are you having this evening for dinner? Time Lord, let us know.
He says, keep an eye out for more Dirt Trek. Would any of you be opposed to me dropping your name in skits?
Absolutely. No, awesome. Go for it. No, we'd love it. Yeah.
Commander Mazza. Oh, yeah. I'd love to be Commander Mazza.
You're welcome.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Yes, we'd be chuffed. Yes.
I am still tallying up stuff. Just give me a minute.
Right, I will break open I gotta break and open the spreadsheet. So yes.
Wow, some people did really good in bingo.
Maj Rams do plan.
He's saying the night's Time Lord. I think he's still around for a minute.
Right. Sorry, I'm with you. I'd say we haven't got your marks out of 10 yet, have we, Stuplan?
No, we have got we got 7 out of Derpy Doubters for Tired. We have 6 for Ruth, 6 for Wookiee.
And now 7 for Stuplan.
7 for Stuplan.
He's still here. Still kicking. It's not even 10 o'clock. We're doing well.
Yeah, we powered through it today. It wasn't a big episode. There wasn't... a lot of the dialogue I found was a bit boring, so I didn't labour on too many points. I don't know. There wasn't a heck of a lot to say.
I felt the same with my notes. I mean, the notes in Memory Alpha were massive, and then there's like that much right, and then for me it was like about 6 sentences I captured.
I really enjoyed this episode for a very strange reason. It was one of those like
we know why you enjoyed this episode.
Not like slow. Huh? I may be
know why you liked it.
The data really upped the quality. I'm not gonna lie. I am biased in that bit. Without data, I don't think this episode would have been as GOC. Because it's just a lot of eye candy going in there. But I liked it because it was a bit science, or they were attempting to do something environmental. And even though they weren't satisfied with it, I thought they did. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Stu Plum has bingo 3 times on one card. What?
Crazy.
Stu Plum?
Stu Plum's on the gin. He's got the gin this evening. What have you got? Let us know. Have you got some blood wine out there? What is your blood wine this evening? Have you got some blood wine water or some blood wine gin like Stu Plum? That's no. Mine is a blood wine Cabernet Sauvignon from Casellero Diablo.
Nice.
Jesus.
Still got my bubbly blood wine. I've only had.
We're still talking amongst ourselves whilst Tarikins works out the rocket science that is the bingo scores. I will say that I enjoyed it more than I did as a teenager. When this episode first came out, I detested this episode. I absolutely hated it. Just because of the whole... Yes, because, you know, just the whole... Oh, they can only go warp 5 from now on. Great, you've just ruined Star Trek for me. So, you know... Because it was just like...
My screen just blacked out completely. What the heck is going on? Oh my god, no!
I was going to say you've gone blackface, but yeah. What happened?
But like,
what has occurred?
Have you had a power cut? No, the lights are still on. Can't be.
Well, they did give us a notice saying our internet was going to be screwed up.
There you go. You're back.
You're back.
Okay, so who? Okay. Is that the last
Yeah,
one?
they just, you know, because I always was like, you know, the Enterprise, what its maximum warp was, and it wasn't as fast as the Enterprise A, and the Enterprise D is a lot faster than all of them, you know, because it's the fastest ship. And now it's like, everyone's got to go warp 5. It's like, what?
It's only in certain areas, though, isn't
What? No. Warp drive's restricted to nothing in certain areas, but warp 5 is a speed limit across the entire galaxy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that. Because they were saying restricted to essential travel only and stuff. So what, that applies to the whole galaxy?
No. So reading it out, this was a direct quote. Therefore, areas of space found susceptible to warp fields will be restricted to essential travel only, and, effective immediately, all Federation vessels will be limited to a speed of warp 5, except in cases of extreme emergency. So
yeah, that second sentence could have still applied to the first condition of in those areas of space.
I don't think it does, because in one of the episodes coming up, they have got to go to there's a planetary emergency or something, and Picard has to quickly apply for a warp 5 exemption thing from the Federation to go to warp 9.
Right.
It's like, oh my god, really? Just yeah. Teenage boy racer me was just like not happy about this at all.
At least they resolve it quite quickly. You ask what everybody's drinking. Wookie says just the usual crystal meth crack cocktail for me with mushrooms.
Crystal meth. Have you seen? Oh my gosh, what's it called? Obliterated on Netflix.
No, I've got it on my watch list though. Is it good?
I loved it. It's very funny.
Oh, good.
It's very good.
I'm looking forward to watching it.
I've
seen like clips and trailers. It looks quite funny.
It's a bit like Team America, you know? It's like Team America.
Oh, right.
Fluff, yeah. You know, they're like CIA team.
Coming to save the day, yeah.
I'll just tell you the premise at the beginning of the first episode. So they go to Las Vegas and they got to stop a nuclear bomb from going off from these like terrorists. And they do it. And they're successful, so they go and celebrate in their hotel room, and they get like strippers around, and someone brings in like crates of wine, someone brings in drugs, and there's just like drugs and drink and a camel and hot tubs, and they just go mad. And then the head of CIA contacts them and goes, "Oh no, actually, you only picked up a decoy. The nuclear bomb's still in play, so reassemble your team. You've got to get back on with it." And they're all like hanging. They're all like, they're either they're bomb experts. The bomb experts in like a drug-induced coma, so they just carry them around with them on their mission, like like the dead guy in that film. What's it? Weekend at Bernie's type thing.
Weekend at Bernie's.
And, yeah, it's just very funny.
He says, "What's the show?" It's called Obliterated.
Obliterated on Netflix. Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah, it does look funny.
It's trash, but it's funny trash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will like it, no doubt. Do we have the bingos?
I do.
Oh,
We got
exciting.
Ruth. Plus, oh wait, why am I reading this?
I don't know. I was about to tap it all in. I'm happy however you want to give it. Hey, Sean.
Sean's heavy breathing. He's just ran down the street, ran in his house.
How are we?
We are well.
We are good, thank you.
Sorry, rehearsals ran late, guys. How's everybody?
We're good.
All right. Yeah,
We're just getting the bingo scores out, so... Wow.
Bingo.
That is a lot of bingo scores, isn't it, this evening?
Maybe Sean wants to tell us what he thought of this episode this week.
Yeah, there was some really good ideas in it, but they didn't lead together very particularly well. There was an A and a B and a bit of a C plot, and the way they were threaded together was not particularly good. The stuff with Data and the cat was hilarious. We could have had just a whole episode on that. Kind of like, do you know Phlox's episode where he has one episode where he's just in sickbay. It's called a night in sickbay or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that with Data and the cat would have been fantastic. The A plot worked reasonably well, but it feel like the message was getting hammered home. It was a bit too obvious. Didn't allow you to come to the conclusion yourself. And there was really no weight put on the fact your one killed herself. And there's the huge plot hole of, we created this corridor and it's very good. Why can't you just create another one? If you created one, you can create another. What's so special about this one? Just create another one light year up and everything will be fine for another 100 years. So, yeah, a couple of problems, but all in all, yeah, it was alright.
Very good.
That's basically what I wanted to say. So.
Yeah, I'm in a different uniform today.
So, what have we got with the scores then? Let's bring up the sheet.
So, in top position with 10 points, 395 TNG review points is Monty Bam.
Hey, I won! Woo!
You did. And then a little bit behind you, only by 20 points, is Stuplum. So he's 9 points. And then next, but 150 points behind, so there's a big old gap, is me. So I get 8 points. And then next behind me with 190 TNG review points is Time Lord. And then
how many points was
behind
that for
him? Oh, sorry, that's 7.
7?
Yeah. And then next behind him is Ruth with 6 TNG review points.
Everyone in the chat is admiring my square head.
Sean doing his impression of a Minecraft person.
Handsome enchanted Shrek. Oh.
Remember that movie where he gets turned into the handsome guy?
I'm not sure, really.
Oh yeah, when he turns like in the human form.
Oh yes, I know. Yeah. Enchanted Shrek. Yeah.
So next, with 35 points just on bingo, is Tavikins. So 5 points for Tavikins. And then next we've got Gujon, so he's got 4 points. And
there's a photo of me of about 22 or 23 or something. Back when my hair was less square. Sorry. Go ahead.
And finally, we got Smiler with a little bit of bingo points, so 3 points for Smiler. I think that's everybody.
That's everyone. Let's just do a quick readjustment.
Oh, it looks like some positions have changed.
I think some positions might have changed. Yes, we have a new top 3.
Duplum. is in the house.
It's the first time Stuplum's been at the top for a little while, isn't it?
Yeah. How does it feel? Dizzy eye, being in goal position.
I have a hard time
Very
deciding
good.
how I want to rate this episode.
Yeah, it is quite tricky, isn't it?
Because there's so much good stuff, but they have just as much meh stuff canceling out the good.
There's some problems, but it was generally enjoyable. It's a tricky one, I agree.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great if just Data was training the cat and then, I don't know, like a cat had to push a button down a hole that Data couldn't get down or something and he had to shove Spot in. Could have just built a whole episode around that. That would have been fine.
We were saying earlier, Sean, that the Spot bits were added later because the show was running really short and they were actually our favourite bits.
Yeah, they're very, very comical and very funny.
And,
and the training going fine and the tune in the blouse and all that stuff. Very, very good. And it really allowed Brent to act, his act without acting thing he does. It was perfect. It just, that wasn't the whole episode. That was just 5 minutes, which ultimately went nowhere.
It went nowhere.
I did like, even though it was a bit off from, well, the thing with Geordi, I liked it that they put it in because it reminds me also of Lower Decks, where they start to give each character their own thing, just so it can be something that they have. So I got a Rutherford feel in this one. So of course, chief engineers are going, so how'd you beef up your engine? Well, I don't know how you're doing yours. But it gave Geordi some backstory other than just him just being the chief engineer.
Yeah, I did really like that. And if they ran that thread through other episodes, that would have been fantastic. But we never hear about Kaplan again. It just seems so throwaway, like, as you say, because it appears out of nowhere, doesn't seem to be for any particular reason, and then never picked up again.
The only reason for that Kaplan thing was to sort of position Geordi as being somebody who, really loves and takes technology for granted, and then having him second guessing the whole, I'm an expert in this, why didn't I, blah blah blah, and then they're hitting hard of having that technology potentially taken away from him.
It's like taking someone that's like Clarkson and is like power with engines and then talking to him about climate change.
If you remember the Voyager episode Drive, where they go on a race in the Delta Flyer, and they have to compete. I mean, that whole Kaplan thing, there was a bit of fun in that, and they could have kept bringing it back, and they could have had a little arch enemy, and then eventually he turns up, and they have to get in a race, and then his ship explodes, and then Geordi has to fix him, and they could have built it up over a season, and it would have been great. They could have done a Russell T Davies on it, where he drops these innocuous clues and doesn't pay him off for 2.5 years. But they didn't do that, just dropped it in, gone.
Yeah, never mind.
Right, have you got your paddles?
I do.
Got my paddle.
Are you ready?
Ready to paddle.
Let's go for close-ups for the paddles. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Boing. Oh,
yeah, we're all on the same page.
I was 5. I've upped it to 6 just because of Spot, but I was 5.
Just for Spot.
And it wouldn't take... It really wouldn't take a lot to become an 8 or a 9, but it's not there at all.
Yeah.
No.
It was a very solid base. It had a solid message, but their execution was a bit off. So I don't know if they'd just chewed it over a bit more, or put in some extra lines that helped the audience figure it out themselves, then it would have been nice. But I did like it, and
7.
You had to chew on a lot. This one was one of those, even though they kind of gave you everything, they also gave you some whole grains up in there. So you were in there chewing for a little bit because you had to think about, okay, this woman is desperate. She basically thinks her planet's going to be sucked into a purple hole in space. But, I did think it was nice, and I enjoyed the acting of the brother because he was sitting in 10 forward. I get annoyed with actors in these TV shows because they always seem to be doing so well after traumatic events. Nobody's getting teary-eyed. I mean, if I saw my brother blow up in front of me, Captain Picard would not be able to say, "We need you right now, scientist." And I'd be like, "You can fuck the hell off." My sister, my brother or whatever just got obliterated. Like, my brain wouldn't even work. And I did like it that, the line they did give him, like, he's like, yeah, that should be fine. But when he's sitting in court and he's having this conversation, you notice he's sitting there with a straight face. He could be alien. Maybe they don't emote like us. But you see his eyes twitching back and forth, like he's trying to orient himself in a new existence. And I like that tiny acting blip that he added to it. It was very minute, but it did indicate, okay, he's going through something. If he's even not, bawling or quivering lip or whatever.
Yeah, they just needed to add in one line about, our species accepts death quite easily, and it's perfectly fine, and you just move past it because they didn't have time to dwell on it. So all they needed to do is put that one little line in, and then you go, that's fine.
Maybe. I don't know. I think they may have cheapened it by doing that, though. I don't think Star Trek writers have the finesse to put that in without it being a line that says, "Oh yeah, no, we're an alien, so we don't have to worry about feelings, or our culture just accept." Oh, how convenient! How convenient. So I guess,
or even just say something along the lines of, I need to grieve, and I will do, but right now I have a job to do, or just something straight like that.
Or that he's so stunned that he doesn't understand, like his feelings haven't caught up exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that always happens. If someone rings you in 10 minutes and say your mother's dead, you just go, "Oh, okay, thanks for letting me know." What? And you'll take it just straight to your face. I mean, half an hour later, you'll be in bits, but in that moment, you'll just take the information and you'll just be stunned and very blunt and dull about it.
I did, yeah. What else? I did like the acting in the room with Spot, like the facial expressions that Brent Spiner goes through when he's doing that was just enough to make you go, wait a minute, this is very emotive. But at the same time, you're going, Data's been on this ship for long enough. We saw him at that, thing where he can mimic people's faces and whatnot. And so it's like, he's leveled up. He should be able to add certain things in. And this felt like he did it just enough to where you could say, yeah, I can see that for Data. He's not acting out of character. But it gave you so much juicy, like, what? We're getting acting from like extra bits from Data in his spare time. And I liked it. I wanted to know why the whole Geordi wanted a freaking cat if he thought a cat was going to be trained.
Considering he doesn't like cats, he really portrays like a loving cat owner quite well. And the way he deals with the cat, it's quite natural.
Yeah.
Well, I forget the episode now, but the one where he's getting Worf to take him, and you can tell Brent is trying. They must have done 20 takes. He's holding on. You must tell him he's a pretty cat, and he's really in his face. And I go, they definitely did 20 takes because every time he did it, Michael Dorn was just going, and he'd just do it again. You can see it so much. They would have to stitch it together, and obviously the writers enjoyed it so much they did it again.
Does anybody remember?
We need to put another.
Does anybody remember Mr. Magoo?
I know the name.
I've seen images and I remember the cartoon, but I didn't watch it very much.
No, I think it's sort of early 80s, wasn't it? I think Mr. Magoo. Yeah.
I remember Mr. Magoo, but I don't remember any points. I thought he was a boring character for I was a child, so.
Yeah. So the scores come out as joint second worst, with Liaisons, with Interface being the worst episode so far this season. It's just behind Dark Page.
What was Interface about?
I don't know.
The one where Geordi is a probe.
The Geordi one.
And he meets his mother.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, that was terrible.
Yeah.
It was alright, but it was at the same time when I remember it.
Is there any Star Trek news we're missing out on, Sean? We haven't had your daily dose of what's going on.
Yeah, Kenneth Biller died. That was sad. He played a couple of different roles in Discovery, and he had ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, a motor neuron disease.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he went from acting as one of the Klingons in season 1 to acting as a human in season 3. And then in season 5, he played a different human who was married to an Orion but was wheelchair bound. And then he lost his voice. He stopped going to conventions and unfortunately got the better of him the other day. Outside of that, Star Trek The Cruise is on at the minute. No major news out of it, but it's nice to see people having fun. And Prodigy had its wrap party in the Scum and Villainy Cantina on the strip in Hollywood. There yesterday. Aaron Walke and the guys. Still no official date on when it's coming out, but we expect it shortly. Pretty Fly for an AI is on about 31,000 views. So Starrect went up from 3,000 subscribers to 4,000 subscribers, and it's in the next 2 or 3 days it'll be his most popular video of all time, and he's been at it for about 4 years. So I'm pretty delighted about that. I think I'm going to give him more ideas for videos. The next one I get, Brilliant. If he makes the next one, I suggest it'll probably have about 400 views, but I'm definitely going to pitch him more stuff.
Yeah, but say you can use it as long as you put a link into the vault. Make sure you call yourself Sean from the TNG review.
Yeah. The problem is you go on YouTube and you type in the vault and you can't find the thing because it just brings up all sorts of stuff. If you could go back again, I would have called the channel something a bit more specific.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You can't find there's hundreds of millions of channels. You'll always find there's other no matter what you call yourself.
Yeah. But in the case of Starrect, as I said, he's went up 1,000 viewers in 8 days. He went from 3,000 to 4,000, and on that one video, he's got about 31,000 views. And it's going up about 2,000 or 3,000 a day. Say it again, sorry.
We had quite a few views last week. I wonder if that's because we referred to as.
That's what I was wondering. Because
maybe. Also, I just thought it's the first episode that didn't feature Sean for quite a while, so and it got like 150 views.
Well, the good news is next week is a Data episode.
Oh,
we have exciting times.
Crikey!
We get to. It's inheritance. He gets to meet his mother.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. She's quite a famous actress as well. Has been in lots of things.
Yes, she has fabulous white hair.
Fionnuala Flanagan, never met her. Not related to her. I must ask Mark, is he related to her? I know of Flanagan. But yeah, she also had other Star Trek roles, and she's been in a lot of stuff, mainly in theatre. But I mean, she's done a lot of TV and film too, so she's been around.
Yeah,
she played the emotional Vulcan in Enterprise in a couple of episodes, and.
Yes.
Yeah, and she was in an episode of Deep Space Nine where they put Dax on trial for something our previous host did, and there's a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
She's round, she got around. Yeah, get around.
They mentioned the other, talk about Lal, they mentioned the other Sung type androids. Yeah, there's a whole lot of, and there's a data on data scene because he gets to talk to his father, and there's all sorts of things. It's a good one. I think it's going to score well.
Go through Spiner Overload next week.
Wookie says so Spiner didn't play the mother then. Shame, because he plays all the other stuff.
That would have been fabulous.
He doesn't Michael J. Fox it. He doesn't play the women.
Oh, it would have been hilarious. He really didn't like how he was dressed up in Fistful of Datas as the woman.
Oh yeah, he has the stockings on and stuff. Yeah.
Maybe he just had this thought that he could be fabulous in drag, and that probably just crushed him beyond. But he really didn't like how he looked in the episode, and he made very, very sure to tell people about that he just thought he was this ugly, homely woman. And I'm like, stop being mean to yourself.
To be fair, he wringed every last bit of comedy out of that episode he could, especially when he was in drag.
It's good stuff. It's Moopsy.
No. Well, Moopsy time.
Bring out the litter mates.
Yay. He kind of disappears when you do that. He kind of cloaks.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, this stuff, this Alska 00 you get in Aldi, zesty lemon, it's absolutely fantastic.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 0 alcohol cider, and it just, I could drink 20 of them. They're delicious.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, I'll have to check that out. Is that an Aldi, did you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, they have an alcoholic version, but this is the non-alcoholic version, but it's really, really nice.
Yeah, cool.
I came in at 10 o'clock. It's just there's no point starting drinking at this stage, so it's just too late.
Yeah.
How is it? Were you were in the play tonight, right? You were just it's not just practice this on Wednesdays, is it?
Yeah, we act out scenes every night. I was doing some shouty scenes with Simey. Simey's my little brother, and he kind of shouts at me, and I shout at him, and he shouts at me, and I'm bigger than him, so I put my hands on him and start throwing him around a bit. He wants to put our father in the home. I want to keep him where he is. He considers it an embarrassment. He wants to shut him away, which is a very common thing in Ireland back in the 60s. Google the Magdalen laundries if you don't know about them. And he just wants to shove him away in a home where he won't embarrass the family. And I no, he's our father. He came here to die. Let him die at home. And we have our big arguments about that. That's kind of how that goes. There's a lot of shouting and roaring back and forth. And every time I do it and shout louder, I keep being told, bigger, bigger! Until I'm absolutely hoarse. It's so unnatural to get in someone's face and really shout at them, you know. And I'm rehearsed it a few times with the guy now, and he's 18. He's coming in the school uniform from school, and the first couple of times I did it, it was difficult. But I've rehearsed it a few times. It's getting easier. But I mean, I'm really getting in his face and roaring at him, you know. So it's shoving him around. So it takes a while to be able to allow yourself to do that, you know, to break all your years of conditioning to be taught not to do that.
Kind of let go.
Yeah, is it cathartic?
I don't know. The character's a lot like me in some respects, but he's the older brother and he's the master of the house. I'm the youngest in the family in real life. He's all this responsibility of the family and making sure the farm is right, and I'm supposed to talk with authority and be authoritative over my mother, over my aunt, over my brother, over my sister, over my father. I'm supposed to be authoritative and domineering, whereas I'm much easier going most of the time, and I'm also supposed to have a bit of a short fuse with regards to certain things because I've grown up too quickly and I've had to take control of the farm from the age of 7, and I'm really just sharp with people if things aren't being done the way I want them done and things. So yeah, so some of it's my type, some of it's against type, but it gets easier every time you do it.
Ooh. We get to see Sean be a bad boy.
Yeah.
You definitely got to see this out of character Sean.
He's getting excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I put my big boots on and stand over him and really lean into his face and scream from about 2 inches away from his face, like phlegm, like spit coming out of my mouth straight on the guy.
Yeah.
You know, kind of really, really get in his face, you know, like. But I mean, that's the play, so.
Oh, I'm visualizing this and going through the emotions. Like, shouted at it point blank. Yeah. My ears would ring.
Right, well, I think that's it for this evening. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you to my co-hosts, Mazza McBob, Davigins Turner, and Chief Sean. Thank you to everyone in live chat that's popped along and joined our show and contributed this evening, including, but not inclusive, Wookie, to Ruth, to Tired Time Lord, to Stu Plum, to Mr. Tavikins, to the Wrench Smiler Rainbow, and anybody else who's watching this after non-live. And always, if you are watching this and it's not live, feel free to let us know what you thought about the episode in the comments section below. Next week, we'll be back for another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And what's the name of the episode, Sean, next week?
What is it again? I nearly said Fanula Flanagan. Inheritance.
Inheritance, yes. Join us next week for Inheritance. That's it from us. See you then.
And that's it from them.
Cheers. Bye.